Hello everyone, this is Rig. Welcome to an episode where we will discuss about the Indus Valley Civilization. In this video, we are going to deeply discuss an introduction to Indus Valley Civilization, the extent or area of the civilization. Also, we are going to discuss the important characteristic features and how the civilization came to an end or how the decline of Indus Valley Civilization happened. Please carry a notebook with you so that you can note down the important points. The last portion of this video contains questions and answers which will help you to understand this chapter better. So let's start with Indus Valley Civilization. Introduction. So this was the first urban civilization in India. Urban means city culture. This was the civilization where for the first time we see emergence of cities, and it belonged to the Chalcolithic age, means copper stone age. We do not find evidence of iron in Indus Valley civilization because this age was mainly focused on copper and bronze. It flourished between 2500 BC to 1500 BC. The first excavation happened at Harappa, where Indian archaeologist Dayaram Sahani excavated Harappa in 1921. So that was the first excavation in the Indus Valley civilization. Harappa is situated on the bank of river Ravi in Punjab, which is now in Pakistan. So Harappa is currently in Pakistan and it is situated in the bank of river Ravi, which is a tributary of the Indus River. In 1922, Mohenjo-daro in Sindh, which is also in Pakistan presently, was excavated by Rakhal Das Banerjee or R.D. Banerjee. So in 1922, Mohenjo-daro was excavated, and in 1921 Harappa was excavated. Mohenjo-daro is located on the bank of river Indus. So it is located beside the main river, which is Indus. Harappa was the first city to be excavated, hence the civilization came to be known as Harappan civilization. So Harappa is considered to be a type site of the Indus Valley civilization because it was the first site to be excavated. Hence, the whole of Indus Valley civilization is also known as Harappan civilization. It is also referred to as Indus Valley civilization. And what is the extent of excavation conducted in this Indus Valley civilization? That is, about 2,800 sites have been discovered, making it the largest civilization in the ancient world. So even though Egyptian or Mesopotamian civilization can be more famous, but the largest civilization which has been discovered till date is Indus Valley civilization with around 2,800 sites spread over Pakistan, India, and also in a little bit of Afghanistan. Extent. So, what was the span of Indus Valley civilization? The Harappan civilization extended from Jammu in the north to Narmada estuary in the south. So, the extent from north to south was Jammu and Kashmir in the north in India and to the Narmada estuary in south, which is in Maharashtra. So that was the north-south extent. The east-west boundary was from the Makran coast of Balochistan in the west to Meerut, Alamgirpur in northwest. So from Balochistan in Pakistan to Meerut in UP in northwest was the extent of the east-west boundary of Indus Valley civilization. What are the major sites? The major sites include Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. These two sites are the major sites which are present in Pakistan. One is in Punjab province, Harappa, and other is in Sindh province of Pakistan, that is Mohenjo-daro. So major sites in India. Other important sites are Ropar, Kalibangan, Lothal, Dholavira, Surkatoda. So these are other important sites in India. Recently, Rakhi Gari is another one important site, and slowly it has proved to be one of the largest site of Indus Valley Civilization. It is in Haryana. So other sites in Haryana include Banawali, Rakhigari, Mitathal, and these are very important sites. As I have said, Rakhigari is slowly proving to be the one of the biggest site in Indus Valley civilization. The Harappan streets followed a grid system dividing the city into rectangular blocks. So the town planning was like grid system, and so the city was divided into many rectangular blocks. Streets were parallel to each other, cut at right angles, so it was like a perfect check box where streets cut each other at right angles. Streets were often paved with baked bricks and were nearly 30 feet wide. So sometimes the streets were 30 feet wide, and they were made with paved they were paved with baked bricks. Means it was a very well organized infrastructural system in the Harappan civilization. How was the town planning unique? Rectangular town planning was unique to Harappan cities and was not found in Mesopotamia or Egypt. So, even though Mesopotamian civilization or Egyptian civilization were contemporary to the Harappan civilization, but still, in the context of town planning, Harappa was very much more advanced. Now we will see in detail about the characteristic features of Indus Valley civilization, starting with the most important characteristics, that is town planning. So it was a unique feature because this kind of town planning has not been found in any other contemporary civilizations of Mesopotamia or Egypt. The Indus Valley cities were very well planned. So the cities had a proper layout and planning system. They were not made according to needs. They were made by proper research and planning, by thinking what will be good for the citizens. Most of the cities were divided into two parts, the citadel and the lower town. So citadel was the upper town and lower town was the place where common people used to live. The citadel was built on a raised ground, probably to protect it from natural elements like flood, because all the Indus Valley cities were situated in the banks of some major river which flooded almost every year. The lower town was built at a lower height. So lower town was at a lower height. The lower town containing brick houses was inhabited by the common people. So the lower town contained brick houses, and all the common people mostly lived in the lower town. The layout reflected systematic planning and civic organization. So this proves that Harappan people were very much organized in their living standards. Next comes the Great Bath. This is one of the important monuments of Harappan civilization, and we are going to discuss it in detail. So one of the important buildings of the Harappan civilization is the Great Bath at Mohenjo-daro. So Great Bath is situated in Mohenjo-daro, and it is one of the best known or characteristic building of Indus Valley civilization. It appears to be an important public place and resembles a large swimming pool. So this must have been a public place because it looks like a very large swimming pool. It comprises of a tank made of bricks. So tank means a place of storing water. So this great bath was comprised of it looked like a tank which was made of bricks. There are six entrances to the great bath, and its south end has brick steps leading to the bottom of the tank. So there are six entry points to this swimming pool, and the southern portion has steps which led to the bottom of the tank. Probably these steps were used to come down to the tank when there was no water. So this may have been a process to clean the tank. The water of the tank could be emptied by a drain. So there was a drain which carried out the water from the tank, probably used for cleaning. The great bath was possibly used during religious ceremony. So there must have been some kind of religious ceremonies which included communal bathing, and so the great bath was possibly used for religious ceremonies. Next comes another one characteristic building of the Harappan civilization, that is the granary. So granaries at Mohenjo-daro were other important buildings. So there was not one single granary. There were many granaries in almost all the important Indus Valley sites. However, the most important or the best preserved form of granary has been found in Mohenjo-daro. Historians believe that they were used for storing surplus food grain. Surplus food grain means surplus, the word surplus means extra. So, which you don't consume and use it for business or storing for future use. So, these are surplus resources. So, historians believed that whenever agriculture produced surplus products like food grains, they were stored in places like granaries. The great granary in the citadel at Harappa was a great building. So in Harappa also there is a granary and it is present in the citadel of Harappa. It was also a very big building. There were two rows of six granaries each. So it was not like a huge room where all the grains were dumped. No, there were six rows of rooms, and in each there was distance between each room for proper flow of air. If there is no air circulation, the food grains will be destroyed. So people took care of those kinds of processes also. The granaries were built close to river bank for easy transportation by boats. Since the granaries were had importance of storing food grains, hence the food grains might have been taken out at certain regular intervals. There were also must have been times when the food grain was brought inside granary. So for the easiness of transportation, the granaries were located near to rivers. Towards the south of the granary, there are circular working platforms. So, towards the southern part of the granary, there are circular working platforms. These were probably used for threshing grain. So, these platforms were probably used for threshing of grain. Evidence of furnaces in the Great Granary suggests that it may have been used by metal workers to produce metal objects. So this place might also have been useful for metal crafts. Assembly hall and dockyard. So what was the assembly hall and how the dockyard functioned? So the assembly hall was another important building found in Mohenjo-daro. It was a pillared hall with 20 square brick pillars arranged in four rows. So the assembly hall was a pillared hall where 20 square brick pillars held a roof, and people gathered in that place probably for some administrative or ritualistic purpose. So this was like a pillared hall which was used for communal activities. The roof has been destroyed, but we find the evidences of pillars. This hall may have been the assembly hall for collective prayers by the people of the city. So it may have been used for ritualistic purpose like prayers. At Lothal in Gujarat, a massive dockyard has been found. So at Lothal, Lothal is a place in Gujarat which is very close to Arabian Sea, and there we find evidences of a water storage unit which may have been a dockyard where ships used to stand. It might have been used for loading and unloading ships. So this proves that there was existence of long distance trade. The dockyard shows the Harappans' knowledge of water transport and engineering. So, from this evidence of dockyard, we come to understand that Harappans had knowledge of how to deal with water transport, and that proves that they were very good engineers in shipbuilding processes. How were the houses in which the Indus Valley people lived? So, large blocks of houses were built along the sides of the streets. If we see the town planning, we will find that the large blocks of houses had roads in between. So, along the sides of the streets, houses were built. They were of varying sizes, often of two or more stories. So houses were not single storied always. There were evidences of two or more stories in houses, and the houses were of varying sizes. The Harappans used burnt bricks of good quality as building materials for the houses. So houses were constructed using materials which is almost similar to modern day construction materials like burnt bricks for good quality, and building material for houses were very much sophisticated. The bricks were of standard size. The design of the houses consisted of rooms constructed around a rectangular courtyard. So if you have seen houses in villages, then you will know that at the center of the house there is an empty place called the courtyard, and all the rooms and living spaces are organized around the courtyard. So bricks were of standard size, and the house design consisted of a courtyard in the middle and rooms being built around it. A narrow staircase led to the rooms upstairs. So there were stairs through which you can go to the upper story. In almost all cities, every big or small house had its own courtyard. So in almost all the cities of the Harappan civilization, all houses had its own courtyard. Almost all houses had a bathroom. Bathroom or sanitation was very much advanced in Harappan civilization, and it was also very much private, considering the fact that each house had its own bathroom. In Kalibangan, many houses had their own wells also. So many houses had their own sources of water. How was the drainage system in the Indus Valley civilization? This is very important because we do not find such advanced drainage system not only in the contemporary civilizations of Egypt and Mesopotamia, but Indus Valley drainage system is much more advanced than the modern cities also, which is an unique feature of the Harappan culture. So discussing about drainage system is very important. The drainage system of Harappan cities was well planned and very impressive. It was a very well planned structure. The drainage system is very important for any living place because it is the drains which carry the garbage out of the society. So drainage system in Harappan cities was very well planned. Kitchens and bathrooms had drains connected to street drains. So there were small drains in the houses, and those drains were connected with the street drains, which carried the garbage or carried the waste materials from all the houses together. The street drains ran along the sides of the streets. We can understand from the name itself that those drains carried the waste materials from all the houses which were situated on the sides of that particular street. The drains were covered with bricks and sometimes with stone slabs. So for beautification purpose and for proper sanitation purpose, so that the diseases don't spread, the drains were always covered. So no open drains have been found in the Indus Valley civilization. It was covered using bricks or sometimes stone slabs. The drains were equipped with manholes. The drains also had manholes through which people can go inside and clean them. So the maintenance of the drains were also very much organized. The drainage system of Harappan civilization is almost unique. Such drainage system has been found in no contemporary civilization, and it is also rare in modern days. It shows that Harappans paid a good attention to health and cleanliness. So that is one of the most advanced thing which we see in the Harappan culture. Then how was the agriculture and how people took care of animals? The agriculture was the main occupation of the Harappans. The Harappans mainly relied on agriculture as it was their primary occupation. The banks of river made fertile by silt deposited during floods helped in agriculture. So every year the Indus rivers used to flood and it used to deposit a lot of silt, which means a layer of alluvium. So thus this silt provided or acted as fertilizers for agriculture, and so it was a very fertile land. The whole Indus Valley area was known for its fertility. Wheat and barley were the main crops. People depended on wheat and barley as their staple food. Dates, field peas, sesame, and mustard were also grown. So these were the other crops which were grown. Dates, field peas, sesame, and mustard. Rice was also cultivated. Rice cultivation was also there. However, wheat and barley were the staple crops. Rice was cultivated, but it was not the main food of consumption for the Indus Valley people. A fragment of cotton cloth found at Mohenjo-daro proves the cultivation of cotton. So one of the unique finding of archaeology in Indus Valley civilization is a cotton cloth, a piece of cotton cloth which have been found in Mohenjo-daro, which has been found in Mohenjo-daro, and it is unique because cotton is a perishable material. It does not stay for 2 or 3 thousand years. Thus, it is very unique, and it also proves that people knew how to cultivate cotton. Harappans domesticated elephants, oxen, buffaloes, goats, sheep, and pigs. One of the most interesting feature here is that Harappans did not have any idea regarding horses. So horse, even though history we'll see everywhere there are presence of horses, but in Indus Valley civilization no horses can be seen. So Harappans domesticated animals like elephants, oxen, buffaloes, goats, sheep, and pigs. Cats and dogs were kept as pets. So people also were fond of pets and they kept cats and dogs as their pets. Asses and camels were possibly used as beasts of burden. So these were the animals who used to carry the burden or carry loads from one place to another. Remains of horse have been found in Surkatoda. So this is only one evidence where we find horse, and that has been found in Surkatoda, which is in the outskirt of Harappan civilization. Crafts and metal work. So crafts and metal work, what kind of craft activity the people used to do and how proficient they were by dealing with metals. So pottery skills. Harappans were excellent potters and used the potter's wheel very skillfully. Harappans were great in ceramic works and they used the potter's wheel in a very skillful manner. They made variety of ceramic items. Their pots had various shapes and were painted with geometrical patterns and shapes. So many types of pottery designs can be seen in the Indus Valley civilization. Harappans manufactured brilliant terracotta models used as toys or worship objects. So many terracotta models were also made by the Harappans, and those models may have been used as toys or for religious purposes like worship objects. Many terracotta female figurines are believed to be symbols of mother goddesses. So, terracotta female figurines are believed to be the symbols of mother goddesses. Some people specialized in polishing beads and making seals. So, beads were used for making ornaments like necklaces, where many beads were connected together with the help of a thread to make necklaces. So, people were there who specialized in polishing beads and making of seals. Other crafts included bricklaying, stone cutting, boat making, masonry, and carpentry. So other crafts were also practiced by the people, and those crafts included bricklaying, means regarding works regarding constructions. Stone cutting, you can understand from the name itself. Boat making was also very important for transport. Masonry meant construction works, and also people knew how to deal with wood, that is carpentry. Spinning and weaving were important occupations. So people also dealt with textiles, and that wouldn't have been possible with spinning and weaving, without spinning and weaving. So metal usage, copper and bronze were used for making vessels, ornaments, tools, and weapons. So these were the two common types of metals, copper and bronze, where copper is a metal and bronze is an alloy of tin and copper. So bronze figures of humans and animals were made with great skills. So bronze figures have been found all around Indus Valley Civilization. A bronze girl statue shows a girl with a necklace and bangles and hair neatly arranged. So this is the famous dancing girl which have been found in Indus Valley Civilization. We also find evidences of gold and silver, where gold and silver were used for beads, pendants, and different types of ornamental purposes. How were the seals important? So, seals functioned as stamps or signs of authenticity during the Indus Valley civilization. A large number of seals have been unearthed from different Harappan sites. Many seals have been found from different Harappan sites. These seals contain realistic human and animal engravings. So, seals are engraved with pictures which resemble realistic humans and animals. The Harappan seals were usually square or oblong shaped and made of clay, steatite, or terracotta. So, clay, you know what is clay, it is made from wet mud. Steatite is a kind of a soft metal which can be engraved, and terracotta means burnt clay. So, these were the materials which were used to make seals, and seals were square or oblong shaped. These seals were probably used by merchants and traders to stamp goods. So these seals were used by merchants and traders to stamp goods. So suppose nowadays when you find a sealed letter, that means there will be a stamp and the letter will be for your eyes only. So, like that, probably the goods were packed, and as a lock, one seal was given. And that seal, if the seal was unbroken, then it proved that there is authenticity in that material. So, seals were probably used by merchants and traders to stamp their goods. So, it had huge amount of legal validity. Seals are valuable source of information about Harappan life and culture. So most of the information that we get about the Harappan life and culture are from the seals. The paintings or the engravings in the seals prove to be a source of information regarding the life of the Harappan people. They provide details about religious beliefs, artistic skills, trade, dress, and ornaments. So, what kind of dresses and ornaments the people used to wear can also be known from the pictures in the seals. Important facts will come to light if and when the script on the seals is deciphered. So deciphering seals is almost impossible because we don't know what is written in the seals. Even though we can see the writing, but we don't know what is written. So if someday someone discovers how to read the Harappan script, then more information will come into light. How was the Harappan society? So, social groups were there, and it has been proved by excavations that Harappan society consisted of priests, rulers, traders, artisans, craftsmen, cultivators, and laborers. So, these were the kind of social groups which existed in the Harappan civilization. Priests were probably the highest, then came rulers, traders, artisans, craftsmen, and cultivators. And also we had the lowest division of social group, that is the laborers. Now this is not confirmed because we have no evidence of written sources, and therefore if we see the other contemporary civilizations and draw a parallel with the Harappan culture, then we get an idea of these social divisions. Wheat and barley constituted the staple diet of the Harappan people. So Harappan people, in their food habits, they were mainly based on wheat and barley. Their diet also included mustard, fruits, vegetables, meat, fish, eggs, and milk. So these were the other food items consumed by the Harappans. The Harappans wore clothes made of wool and cotton. This evidence we get from the piece of cotton cloth available in Mohenjo-daro, and also we get evidence of sheep cultivation. From there we can understand that wool was also owned by the Harappans. Both men and women wore ornaments and kept long hair using hairpins and combs. This we come to know from the hairpins and combs available by archaeological excavations, and also from the engravings or pictures in the seals. Women also used cosmetics to enhance their appearance. So this is a common feature of enhancing of beauty enhancement all around the Indus Valley civilization. Indoor games like dice were popular among the Harappans. We find evidences of dice through archaeological excavations. Hunting, fishing, music, and dancing were common forms of entertainment. Children also played with terracotta toys like dolls, wheeled carts, sliding monkeys, rattles, and whistles. So these were common items of entertainment for the children. Thus, Harappan society was diverse with a lot of evidences found in the field of entertainment. Trade and contacts. How did the Harappan people trade, and what were their point of trading? Means what were their contacts? With whom did they trade? So trade network was very well organized, and it was a key feature of the Harappan civilization. They were expert merchants and traders. The Harappans traded both within and outside India. So it was not only that it was not only that trade used to happen between the cities of Indus Valley civilization, but Indus Valley people also traded with other people outside the Indian subcontinent. They traded with Afghanistan and Persia, which is Iran in present day. So these were the areas where we find Harappan goods available. The Harappan trade extended to Mesopotamia, where around 2 dozen seals have been found. So Harappan seals have been found in the burials of Mesopotamia. The Mesopotamian people used to bury their dead bodies, and along with the dead body, they used to bury expensive things. And those expensive things sometimes had Indus Valley goods in them. So 2 dozen seals have been found in Mesopotamia. The trade was carried on both by land and sea routes using boats, ships, and bullock carts. So these were the modes of transportation for trading for trading in Indus Valley Civilization. In and outside Indus Valley Civilization, they used boats and ships. Boats were mainly used for internal trade, and ships does not mean modern day ships. Those ships were very much small in size. So ships were used for ocean trade, and bullock carts were used to transfer things from one portion to another portion through land. Numerous weights and measures were used indicating wide scale of trade. So in order to transport something, in order to trade with something, you need to measure it. And those measurements were done using weights and measures of different scales. People probably used barter system for trade. Barter system means there was no system of money. Things in exchange of things means barter system. I will give you wheat, you give me rice. That is an example of barter system. There is no exchange with the help of money. How were the religious practices of the Indus Valley people? So mother goddess worship is one of the important feature, and we find it from the seals and figurines, and all indicates that people used to worship a mother goddess. Pashupati seal shows a horned god with three heads in yogic posture surrounded by animals. This have been an early form of the Hindu god Shiva. The Pasupati seal is believed to be an image of Lord Shiva. However, it is very much controversial. Historians are divided, but seeing the modern appearance of Lord Shiva, we can definitely relate it to Pashupati as its earliest form. The people tree was sacred and worshipped, often linked to beliefs in evil spirits. So, people tree is also a very famous item of worship for the Indus Valley people. People worship gods in the form of animals, trees, and human beings. So, gods were worshipped in different forms. Harappans believed in life after death and buried the dead with food, ornaments, and utensils. Because since they believed in life after death, they also believed that after dying, the person may need some items to carry it to the other world. So, along with their dead, they also buried food, ornaments, and utensils. Some people cremated the dead and kept ashes or bones in urns. So, cremation was also sometimes done, and they kept the evidences of dead bodies for ritualistic purpose like ashes or bones, and they used to store it in big clay vessels called urns. How was the Harappan script? Now, unfortunately, Harappan script has not been deciphered. So, like Mesopotamians, the Harappans also invented a pictographic script. Pictographic script means pictures evolved into letters. So, pictographic scripts were used by the Harappans similar to the Mesopotamians. Unfortunately, the Harappan script has not been deciphered. So Harappan script, no one has been able to read it yet. Due to this, we don't know much about their literary contribution, and all the evidence of Indus Valley civilization is mainly based on archaeology and interpretations of archaeological evidences. So we don't know their literary contribution. Most of the seals are specimens of Harappan scripts. Many things are written on the seals, but since we don't know what is written, we cannot read those. So seals are specimens of Harappan script. Administration. How well organized the people were in terms of maintenance, and that refers to administration of a civilization. So no exact information is available because the script has not been deciphered. Judging by their excellent city planning, the government must have been very efficient. So we find a very well organized layout in all the cities, and we find the cities being maintained properly for thousands of years. So from this we can understand that the government in Indus Valley Civilization must have been very efficient. The cities were probably governed by rich merchants and priests. However, this is only a possibility. We cannot surely say this. Decline. So, how did the Indus Valley civilization come to an end? Now, this is also highly controversial because no specific reason have been found till date. We cannot confirm that this is the reason because of which Indus Valley civilization declined. So, we will go through all the possibilities which may have been contributing to the decline of Indus Valley. The Harappan civilization came to an end around 1750 BC. So that was the date when Indus Valley civilization slowly came to an end. The invasion by foreign people might have destroyed the civilization. So people from outside may have attacked and destroyed Indus Valley civilization. A change in the course of river Indus may have made the land infertile. So it is also possible that people depended on the Indus Valley water. We know this for sure because Indus River was the main source of water. However, the direction or the course of Indus River changed, and that is why people were forced to move out of the cities. The expansion of desert increased the soil salinity and reduced fertility. This may also have been one possible reason where we see the desert size increasing and the fertility of the land declining. Floods are also considered a reason for decline as Mohenjo-daro was flooded more than once. So people may not have been able to adapt to the flooding situation. The yearly annual floods which used to happen may have been may force the people to go outside. Earthquakes are also suggested as a possible cause of decline. Although the civilization declined, its culture survived in other regional forms. So the civilization declined as a whole, but we find evidences of Indus culture in different other places of India. So from urban, it transformed into a rural culture, and thus there was a decline of urban system in Indus Valley civilization, but the Indus culture survived. And that was all about the major characteristic features of Indus Valley civilization. Now we will go through the questions and answers which will help you to understand this chapter in a much better way. What is the other name of Harappan civilization? Why is it called so? The other name of Harappan civilization is the Indus Valley civilization. It is called so because many of the early excavated sites were discovered on the banks of river Indus and its tributaries. Which archaeologist is associated with the discovery of Harappa? The Indian archaeologist Dayaram Sahani is associated with the discovery of Harappa. He started the first extensive excavation at Harappa in 1921. Describe the extent of Harappan civilization. The Harappan civilization extended from Jammu in the north to Narmada estuary in the south, and from Makran coast of Baluchistan in the west to Meerut Alamgirpur in the northwest. Major sites include Harappa in Punjab, Mohenjo-daro in Sindh, Ropar in Punjab, Kalibangan in Rajasthan, Lothal, Dholavira and Surkatoda in Gujarat, Banawali, Rakhigiri and Mitathal in Haryana. Write a note on the town planning in the Indus Valley civilization. Town planning is one of the unique features of the Indus Valley civilization. Most cities were divided into two parts, the citadel on a raised ground and the lower town at a lower height. The streets followed a grid system cutting each other at right angles. They were often paved with baked bricks and nearly 30 feet wide. The rectangular town planning was unique and not known in Mesopotamia or Egypt. Where was the Great Bath located? The Great Bath was located in Mohenjo-daro. Give a brief account of the important buildings found in the Harappan cities. Important buildings of the Harappan cities include Great Bath at Mohenjo-daro, which appears to be a large swimming pool with brick steps and 6 entrances, possibly used during religious ceremonies. Granaries were used for storing surplus food grain. The Great Granary at Harappa had 2 rows of 6 granaries each. Assembly Hall was a pillared hall with 20 square brick pillars arranged in 4 rows, probably used for collective prayers. A massive dockyard was found at Lothal in Gujarat, possibly used for loading and unloading ships. Describe the drainage system of the Harappans. The drainage system of Harappan cities was well planned and impressive. The kitchens and bathrooms had drains connected to the street drains which ran along the sides of the streets. These drains were covered with bricks and sometimes with stone slabs. The drains were equipped with manholes. This system was almost unique and shows that Harappans paid a great deal of attention to health and cleanliness. What were the main crops cultivated by the Harappan people? The main crops cultivated by Harappan people were wheat and barley. They also grew dates, field peas, sesame, and mustard. Rice was also cultivated. A fragment of cotton cloth found at Mohenjo-daro proves that Harappans cultivated cotton. Point out the importance of seals that have been found in the excavation of Harappan civilization. Harappan seals were usually square or oblong shaped and made of clay, steatite, or terracotta. These seals were probably used by merchants and traders to stamp goods. They contain realistic human and animal engravings and are valuable source of information about religious beliefs, artistic skills, trade, dress, and ornaments. Many facts of Harappan life and culture will be revealed once the script is deciphered. What do you know about the trade of the Harappan people? The Harappans had a well organized trade network. They traded within and outside India with countries like Afghanistan and Persia. Trade links extended to Mesopotamia, where about 2 dozen seals have been found. They used boats, ships, and bullock carts and traded using the barter system. A number of weights and measures were found, showing the use on a wide scale. Discuss the religious practices of Harappans. Harappans worshipped the mother goddess as shown by numerous terracotta figurines. The Pashupati seal shows a 3 headed horned god in a yogic posture, believed to be an early form of Lord Shiva. The peepal tree was regarded as sacred and worshipped. The Harappans believed in life after death. They buried the dead with food, ornaments, utensils, and sometimes cremated them, keeping ashes or bones in urns. What were the factors leading to the decline of Indus Valley Civilization? Invasion by foreign people might have destroyed the civilization. Change in the course of Indus River could have made the land infertile. Expansion of desert increased soil salinity and reduced fertility. Floods may have caused severe destruction. Mohenjo-daro was flooded more than once. Earthquakes are also considered a reason. Despite decline, Harappan culture survived in different forms in surrounding regions. So that was all about Indus Valley Civilization. Please go through the other videos in the playlist. It will give you an idea of all the civilizations, and these videos can be used for revision works. It also contains question answers which will help you in your exams. So thank you for your love and support.